Good morning, everyone. This is the final section of our EOK class, and this concept of payment certificates we're going to go through. It is the last calculations that you have to know before the exams. Please note that your provisional date is the 12th of December for your exam, so please have a look. The exam timetables have been published, so please make sure that you've got all of that information. So before we go through the payment certificates, there's a few concepts that I want you to take note of. The big concepts. The first thing is, whenever you're confronted with a payment certificate, you will have a couple of items that you need to look at. Firstly, you have to know that each payment certificate is basically a measurement of all of the works. So you're measuring all of the work for a particular payment certificate, and then after that you subtract the previous payment certificates that you've measured. So you measure everything in full and you subtract everything from your previous payment certificates from this payment certificate. So as we go through it, you will understand what I mean by that. Then the P's and G's are usually based on the value of work done, and in your case I will usually give the P's and G's, so you don't have to worry about the P's and G's. Also, as a side note, which I haven't put down here, for you there will only be one bill that you usually look at. There will not be more than one bill, although on the summary sheet you will have to add and subtract all of the items whenever you do that. Okay, so and then each bill BOQ is measured separately and carried over to the summary sheet. Okay, so the first step is to measure the BOQ, the items, bill items. It's usually given in percentages, and then the value of the summary sheet is carried over to the valuation sheet, and then which is done by the QS. So we're not going to focus on this basically because this is a repetition of the actual payment certificate. You will most probably be in the position of the principal agent on the project, so you will sign off the payment certificates. So this is what we're going to focus on. The valuation and the payment certificate is exactly the same, so there's no difference. It's just a signature. So the valuation sheet is just a proposal by the QS, and then you've got the actual payment certificate, and this is on the JBCC contract that this is based. US principal agent will sign. So this is what we're going to look at. So in summary, you will have three different sheets that you're going to populate. Firstly, you're going to have the BOQ. Let me just mark this in blue. You will have the BOQ, and then you will have the summary sheet, and then you will have the payment certificate. So those are the three sheets that you need to populate within with every payment certificate. Okay, so the typical layout of the question will be something in the following. You are given the following information of items that has been measured. So the first thing that you need to establish is where everything is measured. So the question will state that this is month 1, that the progress certificate is done. So you will have the following information. So you will see on the summary sheet the P's and G's is given at 5%, and then you have the second bill, which is in our case the earthworks. So we're going to look at earthworks particularly in this instance, and then it will give you the items of item 1 is measured to up to 90%, and item 2 is measured up to 2%, item 3 is 90, etc., and continuing like this. Also note that in the exam I will not ask this many items. This is just for practice purposes that I've listed them, and as I go through the video you will actually notice how everything works into each other. So I just wanted to show you how things will look whenever you do that measurement. So given if you get the percentages of work actually done per item, it's a lot of the work already done. So I've added here a item here on the measurement. So I just made a bit of a mistake. This should be in length. So take for instance, if we've got a simple building layout like we've got here. So after month 1, they've done all the trenches, and you need to measure everything that they have that has to be paid to the contractor. So we're busy with earthworks. So if we go to our earthworks, we basically measure the amount of work that's done. So usually you've got a set of photos and some measurements that you've done. For instance, you might have the measurements of the depth of the actual excavations, the width of the actual excavations, etc. Then you can go back to the drawing and actually measure it on the drawing as well. So I'm just going to do a quick measurement of the building. So we're measuring the strip footing. Please don't, this is not how it's usually done, so I just want to show you for practical purposes. So this is typically what we do. You've got your existing drawing, and then you measure the amount of strip footing that has been excavated. So I'm just going to take the exterior walls and do the measurement for that. Okay, and then take it over to our BOQ. Okay, so we've got our exterior strip footing. Let me just correct that one. Okay, and then we'll switch over to line. So I'm just working from a drawing which isn't that accurate. Usually if the line settings and everything is in place, then one doesn't have this problem of actually using the snap tool. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we've measured 57 meters of strip footing for our building. So now what we can do is we can calculate and go to our bill of quantities and see how much actually has been measured, and then calculate the percentage of work actually done. So in the next little section we'll actually look at that. So this is typically what the QS does. He goes to site and he measures all the work, and he measures the actual work done. He compares it to what he's measured in the BOQ and calculates the percentage of how much work for that particular item he can actually use. So this is just a very quick introduction to how that works, how the percentages is actually calculated. So when he gets back into the office, he calculates all his measurements. Okay, and so he's measured all of his work on site. Okay, the P's and G's I'll get to just now. So in his bill item, you will see there will be sections. I'll explain the sections now when I get into the actual payment certificate. So you will have your section 1, bill 1, which is our earthworks in this case. Item 1 we measured, for instance, now external. We'll get, when we get to the BOQ, we will actually see which bill of this or which item this is actually. So we've measured the exterior strip footing, and we established that 90% of the strip footing has been done. Then you go to item 2, which is your maybe your your backfill back into the trenches or so, and you've measured 90%. So all of these percentages will be given to you, so you don't have to worry of actually going and measuring all of these items. For me, it's more important that you know how it works, or what the concept is of how a payment certificate is actually done. So okay, so all of these items up to item 30 has been measured. and then now in the next little slide we'll actually get into the payment certificate.